Death is a profound mystery. It has been a source of wonder and fear for all of humanity. Since the dawn of consciousness, people have looked at the stars and asked what happens when our time on Earth is finished. This question is universal. It crosses every culture, every religion, and every era. We tell stories about it, we create elaborate rituals, we build grand monuments to those who have passed. The fear of death is natural. It's the fear of leaving behind loved ones, of unfinished business, and of entering a great silent unknown. This finality is something we all must face, yet it remains the one experience we can never truly share or understand before it happens. This deep-seated curiosity about what lies beyond our final breath drives much of human endeavor. It inspires art, music, and poetry. It is the foundation upon which many philosophical systems and religious doctrines are built. People seek comfort in the idea of an afterlife, a heavenly paradise, or a cycle of reincarnation. These beliefs provide solace. They give meaning to suffering, and offer hope that our connections with others are not severed forever. The promise of something more helps many people navigate the hardships of life. It gives them a framework for morality and a sense of ultimate purpose, suggesting that our existence is just one chapter in a much longer, more significant story. On the other hand, the absence of certainty can also be a source of great anxiety. For those who do not subscribe to a specific religious belief, the thought of non-existence can be deeply unsettling. The idea that consciousness, with all its memories, loves, and thoughts, could simply vanish, is difficult to grasp. This existential dread has been a central theme for many thinkers throughout history. They have grappled with the apparent meaninglessness of a finite life in an infinite universe. Is our brief existence just a random flicker in the cosmos? Or is there a different way to find meaning, one that does not depend on promises of a world beyond this one? This is the space where science and philosophy often intersect. It is in this context of universal questioning that the thoughts of great minds become particularly fascinating. We often turn to them for guidance or a fresh perspective. We wonder how the people who reshaped our understanding of the universe thought about their own place within it. Did their vast knowledge give them special insight into this ultimate mystery? Did they find peace in their scientific understanding, or did the scale of the cosmos make them feel even smaller? The personal reflections of a figure like Albert Einstein are especially compelling. He spent his life exploring the fundamental laws of nature. He gave us a new way to see space, time, and gravity. His views on death, therefore, offer a unique window into a mind that lived in a constant state of awe and inquiry. Albert Einstein was, above all, a man of science. He approached the world with a deep and abiding curiosity. He believed in the power of reason and observation to uncover the underlying order of the universe. This scientific mindset naturally shaped how he thought about everything, including the profound subject of mortality. Unlike many people who turn to faith or tradition for answers about death, Einstein looked to the elegant and impersonal laws of physics. He did not see death as a supernatural event or a transition to another realm. Instead, he saw it as a natural part of the cosmic process. For him, the end of an individual life was not a tragedy to be feared, but a transformation to be accepted as part of a grand, interconnected system. His perspective was not cold or unfeeling, it was rooted in a deep sense of humility and wonder. Einstein felt that the individual human being was a small but significant part of a much larger whole. He often spoke of the optical delusion of our consciousness, which makes us feel separate from one another and from the universe. He believed that our sense of self, this feeling of being an isolated me, was a kind of prison. Breaking free from this prison meant recognizing our deep connection to the entire cosmos. From this viewpoint, death was not the end of existence itself. It was simply the dissolution of that individual, separate self, allowing its components to return to the larger stream of the universe from which they came. This view stands in stark contrast to the common desire for personal immortality. Most people hope that their unique consciousness, their personality and memories, will survive death intact. Einstein did not share this hope. He found the idea of personal survival to be egotistical. In a 1930 interview, he was asked directly if he believed in immortality. His answer was clear and direct: no, and one life is enough for me. This was not a statement of despair, it was a statement of contentment. He found so much beauty, mystery, and fulfillment in this one life that he did not feel the need for another. His focus was on understanding and appreciating the here and now, not on speculating about a hereafter. Therefore, Einstein's approach to death was one of serene acceptance. He did not fear it because he did not see it as an enemy. It was simply a necessary part of the natural order he so admired. His lack of belief in an afterlife did not lead him to nihilism or a sense of meaninglessness. On the contrary, it made this life more precious. It encouraged him to live fully, to connect with others, and to marvel at the intricate beauty of the world around him. His scientific understanding did not strip the universe of its magic, it enhanced it. For Einstein, the true miracle was not that our consciousness might survive death, but that it exists at all, even for a short time. One of Einstein's most profound scientific contributions was his revolution in our understanding of time. Before him, the world largely followed Isaac Newton's view of time as a universal clock, ticking at the same rate for everyone, everywhere. It was absolute and flowed in a straight line from a fixed past, through the present, and into a determined future. Einstein's theory of relativity shattered this concept. He showed that time is not absolute, it is relative. It can stretch and shrink depending on your velocity through space. Time is interwoven with space into a single, four-dimensional continuum known as spacetime. This was not just a scientific theory, it had deep philosophical implications for him. This new understanding of time directly influenced how he viewed the distinction between past, present, and future. If time is not a universal river flowing in one direction, then our perception of it might be a product of our limited human consciousness. Einstein famously expressed this idea in a letter of condolence to the family of his lifelong friend, Michel Besso, who had recently died. He wrote, "Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing. People like us who believe in physics know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." This was not just a comforting phrase, it was a reflection of his deepest scientific convictions. For Einstein, if the separation between past, present, and future is an illusion, then the concept of death as a final endpoint also changes. It suggests that all moments in time, the beginning of a life and its end, coexist in some way within the fabric of space-time. Our consciousness simply moves through these moments sequentially, creating the experience of a linear timeline. When someone dies, they do not vanish from the universe. Their existence, their entire timeline from birth to death, remains a permanent feature of the four-dimensional reality of space-time. They have simply departed from this strange world in the sense that our own consciousness can no longer intersect with theirs in the present moment. This idea offered Einstein a unique form of solace. It did not promise a reunion in a heavenly afterlife, but it did suggest a kind of permanence. The lives of those we have lost are not erased, they are woven into the very structure of the universe. This perspective provides a different kind of comfort than traditional religious beliefs. It is a comfort based, not on faith in the supernatural, but on a rational, albeit mind-bending, understanding of the physical world. It allowed Einstein to see death not as a terrifying void, but as a change in perspective within a unified and eternal whole. The universe itself becomes the ultimate repository of all that has ever been, and in that sense, nothing is ever truly lost. Einstein's letters provide an intimate glimpse into how he applied his cosmic perspective to the personal pain of grief. When confronted with the loss of friends and family, he did not offer conventional platitudes. Instead, he shared his own deeply held beliefs about the nature of the self and our place in the universe. He saw the individual ego, the sense of I, as the primary source of human suffering. In a letter to a grieving father, Queen Albert of Belgium, after the death of his wife, Einstein wrote about the importance of transcending this personal self. He spoke of being dedicated to the service of the all, finding meaning not in personal gain or survival, but in contributing to something larger than oneself. He often described the feeling of being a separate individual as an optical delusion of his consciousness. This was a central theme in his personal philosophy. He believed that we are not isolated beings but are intrinsically connected to everything else in the universe. In his view, the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and the outside world are not as solid as they seem. This idea is deeply comforting when facing loss. If our loved ones are not truly separate from us, then their physical death does not sever the connection. Their essence remains part of the same cosmic fabric that we inhabit. This sense of unity was, for Einstein, a source of profound spiritual strength. When it came to the idea of a soul, Einstein's views were nuanced. He did not believe in a personal, immortal soul that would carry our consciousness and memories into an afterlife. He rejected the religious concept of a soul that would be judged or rewarded after death. However, he did have a sense of something enduring that went beyond the physical body. This was not a personal spirit, but rather the impersonal order and intelligence manifest in the universe. He once wrote, "I cannot conceive of a personal God who would directly influence the actions of individuals. My religiosity consists in a humble admiration of the infinitely superior spirit who reveals himself in the little that we can understand of the knowable world." This infinitely superior spirit was not a deity to be worshipped, but the rational harmony of nature itself. For Einstein, the soul was our capacity to perceive and appreciate this harmony. So, while the individual personality perishes, the spirit of inquiry, the awe at the universe's majesty, continues. This is a different kind of immortality, not of the person, but of the human quest for understanding. His letters on grief, therefore, gently guided people away from the pain of personal loss and toward a wider, more inclusive perspective. He encouraged them to find solace not in the hope of seeing a loved one again, but in the knowledge that they were, and always will be, a part of the magnificent and eternal whole. Albert Einstein often spoke of having a religious feeling, but his use of the word was very specific and often misunderstood. His was not the religion of churches, synagogues, or mosques. He did not believe in a personal God who answers prayers, intervenes in human affairs, or promises an afterlife. In fact, he was quite clear in his rejection of these ideas, which he considered to be born of fear and wishful thinking. He once stated, "I do not believe in the immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it." His faith was not placed in divine revelation but in the observable, rational structure of the universe. His cosmic religious feeling, as he called it, was a profound sense of awe and wonder at the harmony and intelligence revealed in the laws of nature. It was the deep emotional response he felt when contemplating the elegance of the cosmos. For Einstein, the fact that the universe was comprehensible at all was a miracle. He saw the intricate mathematical relationships that govern everything from the motion of planets to the behavior of light as evidence of a superior reasoning power. This power was not a personal being, but an impersonal, all-pervasive intelligence embedded in the fabric of reality. This feeling of awe was the driving force behind his scientific work and the foundation of his personal spirituality. This unique form of spirituality did not require the promise of a personal reward after death. The reward was the experience of life itself, the opportunity to witness and partially comprehend the magnificent cosmic order. Einstein found this to be more than enough. He believed that the desire for an afterlife was rooted in ego and a failure to appreciate the gift of our present existence. In his view, focusing on this life and our connection to the universe was a more noble and satisfying pursuit. He felt that the true purpose of life was to liberate ourselves from the fetters of our own desires and to embrace our role as part of a larger, interconnected whole. This perspective allowed him to hold what might seem like contradictory views. He could be deeply spiritual while remaining a steadfast rationalist. He could reject the idea of a personal God and an afterlife while still feeling a profound reverence for the mystery of existence. For Einstein, science and this cosmic religious feeling were not in conflict. They were two sides of the same coin. Science was the tool he used to explore the structure of the universe, and the cosmic religious feeling was the emotional and spiritual response to the beauty he uncovered. It was a spirituality grounded in reality, a reverence for the known, and a humble acceptance of the vast, mysterious unknown. As Albert Einstein approached the end of his life, his philosophical views on death were put to the ultimate test. He did not waver. His final days were a quiet testament to the serene acceptance he had cultivated throughout his life. In the spring of 1955, an abdominal aortic aneurysm, which doctors had known about for years, ruptured. He was taken to the hospital in Princeton, where physicians suggested surgery as a last-ditch effort to prolong his life. Einstein calmly refused. He had lived his life on his own terms, and he was determined to end it with the same sense of dignity and autonomy. He saw no point in fighting the inevitable. His reasoning was clear and consistent with his lifelong philosophy. He reportedly told his doctors, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly." This was not a statement of despair or surrender, it was a declaration of peace. He viewed his life as a completed work. He had contributed his part to the great human endeavor of understanding the universe. Now, his role in the cosmic play was coming to an end, and he accepted it as a natural and fitting conclusion. He felt that his time was up, and he faced this reality without fear or regret, treating it as just another natural event. In his last hours, he was not consumed by thoughts of a final judgment or an impending afterlife. Instead, he remained the curious scientist he had always been. He asked for his glasses and some papers, hoping to continue working on the unified field theory, his quest to unite all the forces of nature into a single, elegant equation. He worked for as long as he had the strength, a symbol of his unending dedication to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. His focus was not on his own fate, but on the larger, impersonal truths of the universe that had captivated him for his entire life. This final act showed where his true faith lay, in the enduring power of human reason and the beauty of the physical world. Einstein died peacefully in his sleep in the early hours of April 18, 1955. He had left specific instructions that his body be cremated and his ashes scattered in a secret location. He wanted to avoid the creation of a cult of personality and did not want his grave to become a site of pilgrimage. He wished to dissolve back into the natural world he so admired, without fanfare or ceremony. His end was a perfect reflection of his life and beliefs, humble, rational, and in quiet harmony with the laws of the universe. He showed that it is possible to face death not with terror, but with a sense of calm completion and profound acceptance of one's place in the grand scheme of things. Albert Einstein's legacy extends far beyond his scientific equations. He left humanity a profound and comforting way to think about our own existence and our inevitable end. His perspective offers a powerful alternative to the fear and anxiety that so often surround the topic of death. The most important lesson we can learn from him is the idea of belonging. He taught us to see ourselves not as isolated individuals, but as integral parts of a vast and interconnected cosmos. This sense of unity, of being woven into the fabric of space-time, changes everything. It reframes death not as an annihilation but as a transition, a return to the universal whole from which we emerged. This idea that the separate self is an illusion is a powerful tool for living a more compassionate and meaningful life. When we recognize our deep connection to others and to the natural world, our priorities shift. The ego's demands for personal gain, fame, and even survival become less urgent. Instead, we can find purpose in contributing to the well-being of the whole. Einstein's view encourages us to live with a greater sense of empathy and responsibility. If we are all part of the same cosmic entity, then harming another is, in a sense, harming ourselves. This perspective fosters a sense of universal kinship, which can be a source of immense strength and comfort throughout our lives. Furthermore, Einstein's embrace of mystery teaches us humility. In our modern world, we often demand simple, definitive answers to life's biggest questions. We want certainty about what happens after we die. Einstein, one of the greatest minds in history, was comfortable with not knowing. He found beauty and spirituality in the mystery itself. He accepted that there are aspects of reality that may forever lie beyond our comprehension. This acceptance of the unknown can be liberating. It frees us from the anxiety of needing to have everything figured out and allows us to live with a sense of wonder, appreciating the questions as much as the answers. Ultimately, Einstein's thoughts on death guide us toward a state of peaceful acceptance. He showed us that it is possible to live a full and meaningful life without the promise of personal immortality. The meaning is found here and now, in our relationships, in our contributions, and in our capacity for awe. By looking at the stars, by studying the world around us, and by feeling our connection to the grand cosmic dance, we can find a sense of permanence that transcends our individual lives. We can learn to see death as he did, not as a terrifying end but as a natural, peaceful, and even elegant return to the universe that is our true and eternal home.